Welcome back to the SA Sports Show. Time to turn our attention to the Southern Football League, Timmy, and I tell you, mate, it is hotting up down there. I was at a game on the weekend.
Oh, yeah?
I was at Happy Valley.
You got a game on the weekend?
I was down there.
You're good.
Just doing some homework.
Somebody was desperate.
Yeah. Just doing a little bit of homework.
I didn't see no registration papers.
As I normally do. Craig Warman, the president of the Southern Footy League, has joined us again.
Thanks for having me, boys. Yeah, welcome.
It's hotting. I see it's hotting up. Now it's starting to simmer a little bit, isn't it? With Port Lunga, Happy Valley.
Yeah, it's as close as competition as we've had for quite a few years, and still the sides that are 7th, 8th at the moment. They're only a couple of wins away of knocking on the door for the top 5. So pretty even competition, because over the next 5 or 6 weeks leading into the finals, all of those sides in that mix are going to be playing each other.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastic draw that's come out.
Great programming.
Oh, well, yeah. I don't know whether it's great programming, but it's just got that real nice little edge to it where week in, week out, you don't know who's going to be winning.
Well, we do know Flagstaff Hill are going to win.
Well, you do, because the top 3 look like pretty certainly but the 4th, 5th spot are certainly up for grabs. Happy Valley took a big scalp last week in Port Lunga. Well, it's one Porties would love to get back. Jars wasn't happy.
Up at 3/4 time, I believe.
Yeah, up at 3/4 time by 4 goal.
Wow.
And got overrun
and
lost by a goal in the end.
And they shouldn't have lost that game. I was there at that game.
Right.
And they played well all day.
Yeah.
Porties, they did.
Yep.
When I left the ground, I thought, well, they'll win this. Just the way they were playing. You could see the way the game was going. That Valleys were sort of look menacing at times, but they didn't get them. They didn't sort of kick a couple on the trot and get back in the game. Port Lunga seemed to always have the answer. So I'm sad I had to miss the last quarter. I had to get home and watch the debacle at Marvel.
Oh, right, yes, well played.
You should have started Happy Valley, mate.
Good decision, yeah, great decision. But he would be ruining that for sure, Charles, no doubt.
Oh, that's one they would have penciled in because they got him in the first round as well, Happy Valley. When you look at it, one that slipped.
The top 3, you mentioned that. Ranella, of course, the reigning champs. Flagstaff Hill undefeated. You got Sam Jacobs running amok. He's the leading goal scorer as well with 36. So of that top 3,
how do you stop him, Timmy?
I was going to say, you need somebody about 200 centimetres. But is there any challenge to Flagstaff Hill for the flag at this stage, do you think?
Oh, look, they're a very, very good side for Flagstaff Hill. But don't discount Ranella. Don't discount Norlunga. They're starting to get some players back from injury. And on their day, are as good as Flagstaff Hill.
Okay,
that's interesting. Ranella, they've had a bit of a rocky road in the last month or so. They had a win they beat Aldinga on the weekend. That was a game that you thought Aldinga might do a little bit better in, but it also showed that Ranella are probably on the way back.
Yeah, very much so. And you've only got to look at, all right, yes, they lost their number 1 ruckman from last year, Cam McCree, who's doing great things down at the Bay.
Yeah.
And they're just starting to evolve. They've got a couple of young blokes, Mark Borholm, the big fella. Yeah, he's training these young kids, and they're going to be there for quite a while, Ranella.
Okay. Now we better look at this week, I think, coming, because this is a bit tricky. This is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets really interesting. Morphett Vale, who are just sitting 4 points off. Well, they're only sitting 2 points off.
They're 6th.
Yeah, they're only sitting a couple of points off. They play Christie's Beach, who haven't won a game.
No, they haven't.
So you'd have to say Morphett Vale will win that game.
Yeah, you would. But in the first round, Morphett Vale got up by a point.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So that's how tight the competition is.
Yeah.
And Christie's, to their credit, are blooding a lot of young kids. So when you look at that, they're not without a chance. Morphy's still got a couple of injury problems, but at home they're always hard to beat the Emmy.
Okay.
And to keep the finals chances alive, they have to win, don't they?
Well, they have to win, absolutely. Exactly. Well, Happy Valley, Flagstaff Hill. There you go. Now, this is where it gets Flaggies, we know, we're sitting top and bombing everybody. Happy Valley are 4th with 12 points. Now, they've got these teams like we just said, Morphett Vale, who are going to probably go to 10, and Happy Valley will probably get knocked off by Flagstaff Hill. That's at Happy Valley again, isn't it?
Yeah, that is at
on the
Happy
weekend.
Valley. They've got a string of home games now leading into their final series, because the first round, having new club rooms being built, had to play all their games away. So they've got that nice string of home games to come in. And of course, it's a really big day against Flagstaff Hill for the Baxter Farrell Shield. And of course, we'll be there. Tribe FM will be there to do the broadcast. Because it's the official opening of the new change rooms there.
Fantastic.
Okay. I'll probably be around there again as well on the weekend then, Happy Valley.
Regular.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I'm after, their coaching job. Noarlunga, Port Noarlunga. Here we go again. Noarlunga, sitting second. Porties after that loss on the weekend.
You don't get a closer local derby.
The
Noarlunga, Port Noarlunga, do you?
Well, Port Noarlunga Christie's just up the road as well.
That's true. That's another one.
In saying that, these two sides they're like the old Port Norwards. They just don't like each other. And you can be rest assured, especially after Jars to Port Noarlunga dropping one last week, they'll be after a bit of blood, I think, and not without a chance. Noarlunga played some good football to beat Cove last week, but it was Cove's inexperience and inability to maintain possession that cost them dearly. I don't think Port Noarlunga will fall into that trap, and Noarlunga, you tip them to win, but don't be surprised if Porties give them a real shake-up.
Game of the round. Aldinga versus Cove. Now there's another classic little game there.
Both of these sides need a win to keep that momentum going towards the final series.
And it's at Aldinga.
And it is at Aldinga. Aldinga last time, again, were ahead for most of the day. And Aldinga got them, Cove got them right at the death knock. But I've got to tip the Sharks at Shark Park. Yeah.
Aldinga to beat them. Okay. Now that's going to make an entirely new premiership table next week.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Throw this one out, this one's gone.
That's the exciting part, as I say, with all of these sides playing each other in the lead up to the finals. It's going to give you a really good gauge on how good the final series is going to be.
Good on you, mate. If you're looking for some exciting football...
Well, just quickly,
on, mate, please.
We've got the women's competition as well. Port Noarlunga beat Hackham last week. Cove beat Noarlunga. Christie's Beach beat Flagstaff Hill. Ranella beat Aldinga. A couple of cracker games coming up. Noarlunga and Port Noarlunga in the women's. Ranella and Flagstaff Hill, last year's grand finalist, is a replay. At Ranella, you tip Ranella to win that one. Cove should beat Aldinga, and Christie's Beach, who are sitting top at the moment. First time Christie's women have been on top. They take on Hackham, and they should have a win there.
All right, mate. Some great football happening in the Southern Football League this weekend. If you're not doing anything, get down to one of these games, because you're guaranteed excitement. There's some terrific football being played in the Southern Footy League. We'll come back with more in just a moment.